This is Joe,
Michelle,
Melissa,
and Shannon.
with More Than a Sniff, where we talk about everything dog.
from training to nutrition.
From behavior modification to grooming. From vet visits to dog parks.
From getting to know us to having guests. Today we're going to talk about something that comes up occasionally that as we're in dog training and in lessons, one of the things that's important is the balance of living with your dog, and that being, making sure you're eating or feeding your dog properly, making sure that your dog's getting enough sleep, making sure that your training is happening, and then also something that doesn't come up a whole lot from a training standpoint is playing with your dog. And we hear time and time again that my dog won't play. And so, Melissa, what's your take on dogs playing, won't play, doesn't play the way I want to play kind of thing?
To me, play is all about connection and how you connect with your dog. And for me, I think playing with your dog is really important to training.
Mm-hmm.
And I do that with my dogs. We have the serious training time, which is still fun, but it's a more serious activity.
Right.
And then I play with them. It's a way I understand their personality and I understand their quirks, their likes, their dislikes.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just a way to communicate with them when I feel a deeper level.
Mm-hmm.
When I hear my dog won't play, what immediately comes to mind is maybe you're not listening to your dog. How is your dog wanting to play with you, and are you not being willing to be vulnerable? I think you have to kind of be vulnerable to get on the floor and play with your dog.
Right.
You kind of look silly, but
Yep.
you really have to let go of your ego and yourself to just
Yeah.
be with your dog
Yeah.
and let your dog tell you how they're wanting to play.
Yeah.
Maybe your dog doesn't really want to retrieve, but maybe your dog loves playing tug.
Mm-hmm.
Play tug with your dog.
Right.
Maybe your dog doesn't like that, but likes hide and seek. Take some time to connect with your dog.
Yeah. So, no, go ahead.
Because dogs are playful creatures.
Right.
They want to play. They love to play.
Yeah. I think one of the biggest things that, people understanding what play is you do have to be vulnerable. And when you're playing fetch, you don't have to be vulnerable. You stand out there, and that's what a lot of people think play is playing fetch. We play fetch, and that's great. But if you have an anxious dog that doesn't want to leave your side because it's a scary world to even venture into new territory to pick up this ball, they're not going to be retrievers. No matter, you can't teach that. Where some dogs will chase it, but then they come right back to you because it's too vulnerable to have something in your mouth, because then it puts them in a bad situation. So, it's true that every dog will play. I mean, my 12-year-old shepherd was playing, and he doesn't do that very often with the other dogs. He loves to play with us and do things with us, but he doesn't engage like that. But they all like to play. They all like to, when they're vulnerable, when they're comfortable, they like to play. Shannon, what's some tips that you can give people on how do you start playing with your dog?
I think the key to learning how to play with your dog is having lots of options. Having lots of options in what toys or what objects that you're playing with, and also what styles of games that you're playing. Because not all dogs like the same kind of games or the same kind of toys or whatever. I personally have never had a dog that liked fetching. You can teach your dog to fetch and you can make them do it. But if they don't love it, if it's not their joy, it's not a game. And I've never, ever had any of my dogs that liked that game. And so you have to try all different kinds of games and see what they like. You can play hide and seek with your dog. That's a really fun game, and some dogs really love it and some dogs don't. And you just have to try it and see what they like.
Melissa, how would you describe to somebody, describe what being vulnerable looks like to a human being being vulnerable?
Don't try to be... So many people try to be this alpha all the time.
Uh-huh.
So get that out of your mind.
Yep.
Stop pretending.
Yep.
But get on the floor, start making sounds, get a rope or a toy and start playing with it yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Act like a dog. Be as silly as you need to be.
Yep.
Invite your dog. Use weird voices. Just try to go out of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And if you start feeling uncomfortable, you know you're on the right track.
Right. Nice.
And watch how your dog's reacting.
Yeah.
Because most of the time they're going to, seeing you get down on the floor, playing with a toy.
Yeah.
They're going to like that's going to be very fascinating. They
Right.
might be a little confused at first.
Right. Yep.
Because some of them might have never played that game.
Seeing you down on the floor
Yeah,
before
yeah.
like that. Yeah.
And don't have any preconceived notions about it.
Mm-hmm.
Don't think that you're going to try to teach your dog a lesson, or don't try to think about that, but just
Right.
be in the moment right there
Yeah.
and have fun.
I think that, there's this, how do you play with your dog? Describe that. What does it look like? And I had a client just this last week that she really enjoys playing with her dog, but she really was really set on playing fetch. Like, I play with her, but I really want to play fetch, and the dog is not. She's got way too much anxiety to want to play fetch in the middle of the park. And so, we talked about having different toys, exchanging toys, and incorporating your fetch into that, where occasionally you throw something, but 90% of playing is her on the ground and in a play bow and rolling her, which was really scary actually for the dog at first, because she's so anxious that, just taking her legs down and just kind of rolling her over was really terrifying. And it almost shut her down to the point that she was like, no, I can't play. And I said, just keep going, like push her through, because play builds confidence. And so she finally got to the point that the dog was then starting to engage in, like, okay, let's play tug of war then, and then I'll get the ball, and then occasionally she would just roll her and kind of grumble at her, and she really finally started getting into it, that she was happy. But at first the dog was like, I don't know why you just did that, and I didn't like it, and I'm going to go sit in my crate for a minute, and then the owner just wanted to shut down, like, see, she just stops. She won't play with me. She won't, she'll only give me this much. And so you have to be vulnerable. And that's really hard for most people, to be vulnerable anyway. And then on top of it, look silly with it all, Shannon, how do you play with Louie, who is so serious about everything, but not really?
He likes to make you laugh. So if you can play a game where the result is that the people are laughing, then it's the funnest ever. So we have this game that we play with him that's called Tickle the Doggy. And so we go, who's going to tickle the doggy? And then we just literally just tickle him. But the more people that are over, the more people he wants to tickle him all at the same time. And so it's like this giant tickle pile of people tickling him. And so like 5 people will be tickling him. And if not everybody comes and plays, then he's like, no, this isn't the game. Everyone's supposed to come tickle. And so everyone will go, tickle the doggy, and come and tickle him all. And that's just it, is like, he just like wants to stand there and you to tickle him. And then he starts like wiggling and having fun. And then everyone just thinks he's ridiculous and starts laughing. And then that's like the game, that was so fun. So you just like make up these games. Like, who looks on the internet and finds Tickle the Doggy as a game? Like, that's not a thing, but that's like his favorite game, that we play.
One of the funny things that Chris would always do with our Italian Greyhound is play chase around the house, and our house is not big. So chasing around the house became Mitt catching Chris and pulling his shorts down. Like, that was the, like, running around, and he would get so just vocal and and he'd jump up and he'd try and bite you, and that was never like, sure, he's jumping up, he's using his mouth, but he's playing, and he'd grab a hold of shorts. But it was the game that they would play, and he would totally look forward to, like, he's ready. He'd get up on the bed and he's like, okay, we're ready to play this chase game that was not, I mean, it's not really a chase game around our house, but, for him it was. With the Shepherds, both of them, they really, Chianti is more serious about fetch. That's really her her love for that, and everything else is just kind of like whatever. She doesn't get into silliness. She's very serious about fetch, where Bora loves fetch, but he also really loves tug of war. And then with the new puppy, I haven't really found. She started kind of retrieving. She's kind of playing. She's super soft, so she's not quite sure what we're doing when we get soft and what she's supposed to do with it all. So, we're definitely still exploring her play right now. Melissa, how do you play with Cooper and Yuki?
Cooper wants to play all the time. Everything's a game to her. She's constantly making up new games that she gets all excited about, and Nick or I don't really know what the goal is, but she is having a great time. She loves the chase, the hide and seek, the everything. One game that kind of started as when she was a puppy, she loves watching us fold clothes.
Oh, funny.
And loves socks especially. And since she was a puppy, we would kind of flick the sock at her, and she would try to catch it. So now anytime we start doing laundry, she gets so excited, runs to the bed, gets in position, and is ready for the socks.
Yeah.
And that's, I don't know where that came from. She also loves people watching her play. So she loves groups of people watching her play tug of war and winning. Because then she'll parade around the room.
Yeah.
And if somebody doesn't say good job, she will stand and stare at them.
Yeah.
And it's quite annoying, but
yeah.
cute. But it's been super fun watching Yuki kind of explore games with us and with Cooper. She loves chase, which makes sense. She's a herding dog. She doesn't quite get hide and seek yet. That's still kind of weird.
Yeah.
She loves tug though. That is her jam. She will do that all day, and it's been really fun. I think my favorite thing about playing, other than actual playing, is when they invite you to play.
Yeah.
I think that is such a sweet and happy. I don't know. I'm a softie for that.
Yep.
And so anytime they do, I just can't say no.
Yeah.
So the first time Yuki brought the rope to me and got in play, like a play bow, I was just like, oh my God.
Yeah. Yeah.
She's playing.
Yep. Yeah. I find that people have a tendency to want their dogs to play by themselves, and they don't want to have to be a part of that. And it's pretty natural for dogs to entertain themselves, but there's two sides to it. They either want their dogs to play by themselves and the dog doesn't, or they want to play with their dog and the dog doesn't want to play with them. Shannon, what's your thoughts on not you as a human, the human owner, or the human side of the relationship, not wanting to play with your dog?
I think sometimes you don't. You as a human have responsibilities, right? You have to do your laundry. You have to put the dishes away. You have to go to work. And so when you're getting ready for work and your dog's like, yes, let's play. And then you're like, but I'm going to work, So the way that I balance it myself is anytime that he asks me to play, I play with him, but we just play a short game and then we stop so he knows that, we can play. And then when we're done playing, then we have to stop and then we go do something else. So I just have little teeny games all through my day kind of that I just play with him for like less than a minute maybe. We have just a really quick little tug and he won, yay. That's the end of the game and we don't have to play. And then we play more at night, which is when everybody comes home and everybody's there and like we have time to tickle him and run all over the house and whatever. But he does want to play and interact with you all through the day. And so I just do mini plays all day long that are just like really short.
Yeah, I think you just don't have to think about it. You just stop thinking about it and engage and make that happen. I think that people that don't want to be bothered with play are missing out on such a different connection with their dog than we just want to train. We go for a walk. This is our routine, but sometimes it's you're missing out on a deeper connection when you can be vulnerable and you can play and have a relationship with your dog versus I think I like to look at it as if you are an owner of something, then it's more of a a object. And a lot of times we look at it as I'm the owner of the dog, and you're not really the owner. You're responsible for that dog, but you're responsible for fulfilling the needs of the dog, not just owning the dog. And I feel like there's just a big difference when that you're a part of a dog's life, and your dog is a part of your life, and it's not an ownership type mentality. That's when you become vulnerable, and that's when you play, and that's when you accept that they shouldn't. Dogs don't just go off and play by themselves. They initiate play with other dogs. They initiate play, and they need that balance in their life. To a dog that just wants to play with their toys and wants nothing to do with human, and the human wants to play because that's why they bought all those toys. Melissa, what's your advice on that?
Start slow and start kind of see what your dog is playing. Maybe you need to kind of just play a little bit with them. Maybe it's not, like maybe your dog doesn't really want to wrestle, but maybe go play with one of their toys if they're playing with another one. Kind of start squeaking the toy and then throw it at them, and then kind of get them engaged that way. There's some game that your dog likes.
Yeah.
Maybe involve treats at first, and that might entice them more. But unless the dog is like kind of thinking of a dog that's completely disconnected, I'm trying to think. I had a consultation where the dog, no relationship with the people, did not want to connect, which just hid in her bed, absolutely kind of behind a wall with the world. And for that scenario, I would start giving her treats, start playing small. There's a lot of dogs get interested in like movement, so start wiggling a toy, catch their eye and give it to them, but just every day start connecting with them more. You don't have to go all in all one day. Just we're going to play for 30 minutes whether you like it or not. Like Shannon was saying, little moments of go give them a ball, go give them a treat, start initiating a deeper relationship.
Yeah, the one thing, just to wrap this up, if you have a dog that's not playing, or a dog that you feel like won't play, or you have a dog that you're not sure how to play with them, my advice is that everything is picked up that has anything to do with play, and it doesn't stay down with them all the time. The only thing that you leave down is the chew bones and stuff like that, because you're not going to chew on that bone. It's something that they do by themselves. But all the toys that a dog would play with all gets picked up, and you bring them out at certain times during the day, and that's when you initiate play, and that's when the toys come out, and the toys only come out when you're ready to play with those toys and with them, and then they get picked up when the game is over. And so then the dog starts looking forward to those toys coming down, and they learn that those toys come down, and it's an association to you, not to the basket of toys in the corner of the room. And so then you can leave a toy down and see if the dog will pick it up and initiate it with you, instead of you having to initiate it the whole time. But starting slow, but you pick everything up, and they don't just get to play by themselves. They have and become dependent on you for that play, and then eventually all the toys can be out, and you don't have to keep them all picked up, that they will play with you. So every dog plays. I think that we as human beings forget as an adult to play, just in general in life, that we forget to play, and that it is an important part of our life, and it's just as important for your dog to play. And every dog, like Melissa said, every dog will play. You just have to find what that play is. Sometimes, what somebody calls play, where the kids are playing on the playground, we're not going to go play on the playground as an adult, but our play may be, going snowboarding, or, something that is fun and we enjoy, and it brings out that part of our life that we can keep balanced. Dogs need the same thing. So there's no such thing as a dog won't play. It's just you have to figure out how a dog plays.